Hello! Yes! The Stronghold wall of games for you all.
So many of them this year.
All right. I mean, it's another crazy year, of course. We're obviously with all these brand new or very recent releases. We're not going to go into detail on anything, but we're going to talk about things at a high level, and we're going to show some beautiful things.
Yes.
With some beautiful artwork. I'm Stephen. Oh, do you introduce us, or do I? Yeah, you do.
We'll do a little. This is Catherine Roseland from Board Game Geek here at SPIEL 2017, and we've got Stephen Bonacore, and we have Paul and Kao from Stronghold Games, and with their tower of games, as you saw.
And we're going to first talk about Noria. Noria,
which beautiful artwork.
Which is amazing artwork by Franz and Michael Menzel.
That's correct.
And this was we're highlighting this one, due to the art and some very unique things that are going on here. Noria is our new partnership with Edition Spielweiss, a very up and coming German publisher, and with them at the show we're doing both Noria and Indian Summer. We'll talk about the second. This is an Uwe Rosenberg game. Noria is by a new designer who won the Spiel des Jahres Fellowship in 2015, and just happens to be a woman, which is wonderful, right? So a female game designer on a major Essen release, and we're really proud of this game in every way, both the artwork and the very interesting, unique game mechanics that Paul's gonna kind of go into a little bit now.
Yeah, so tell us about this.
We call it, what is it called, Paul?
Wheel building.
Wheel building. New genre in games. Paul, tell us a little bit about what wheel building is.
So I had to take it out of the box to show the wheel building mechanic. And basically, this is a heavy game, first out of the gate, but very elegant in its design. It introduced a new mechanic called wheel building. Each of these little energy discs on the board provides actions in the game, and basically each player has their own wheel.
So there'll be at least up to 4 of these out there, because it's
wheel that
it's
you're
a
building up.
2 to 4 player game, but you can also even play it solo with some rules that we've posted onto Board Game Geek. Yes.
Cool. So it has the player aid right in front of you, and your own personal wheel. On your turn, you can select actions that are on the player board side of your wheel.
All right.
And you have to choose actions in a kind of linear manner. Think of this as an adaptation of deck building, but in a wheel with actions.
And you can see, this is 3-dimensional. You actually, you build this thing.
They're in 3 levels here, which is really
neat. Really cool, and they will rotate.
Yeah.
So this is kind of how the game would start. During the game, you can invest to get more actions on your wheel, and then there's some special actions that give you double actions throughout the game. So the game will kind of accelerate. You start off slow with your basic actions. Actions in the game. Well, let's just talk about the theme a little bit about the game. So this
is a floating city, right?
Yeah, it is a steampunk fantasy world
that she created also. She created backstory to this thing,
so
it's very rich. She just didn't do this generic game design. This entire fleshed out world that we can explore here.
But heavy economic elements to the game. There's basically, you can see 4 project tracks in the game, and each player is going to have meeples that move up those tracks, and that you can invest to move up along those tracks. And at the end game, based on how high you've climbed, each of the tracks will be rewarded based on how high you go up, multiplied by what the political value of that area is, which is also determined by the players. So there's a lot of push and pull in the game, which is kind of neat. The islands are places you go to where you get additional actions. You can send your workers to get more money in the game.
And there's several of these islands then.
So it's a pretty, lots of interwoven mechanics in the game. Really unique design.
Really cool.
And beautiful. Again, I love this whole wheel mechanism. The fact that it turns and it's at different levels, right?
At the end of your turn, you actually each of the wheels turn once.
So you get that
around.
tactile
So it's
experience,
always
too.
changing, and you kind of have to plan ahead what your available actions will be on the next turn.
Yeah, it's because you
Very
might
neat.
want to take these colored actions or these, so you have to plan the whole thing out how you want to do it, and then you're going to be buying, gaining more of them to increase what you can do on your
Yeah, there's
wheel.
spaces here that you can be filling.
And you can be filling in the spaces. So really cool. This is going to be in the, I shouldn't like overhype it, but it's going to be in very short supply once it does hit the U.S. market in January. So if you're interested in this game, put the pre-orders in either with us or your friendly local or online game store.
Fantastic. And 2 to 4 players, a bit of a heavy game.
2 to 4 heavy with single player option as well.
Fantastic.
With alternate rules that we have posted already on Board Game Geek. Now,
So this one. Let's show the box first.
this is Uwe Rosenberg, right? Truly one of the great designers. Last year last year edition Spielweis came out with Cottage Garden, right? And we picked that up.
The series?
This is the second in the series. In fact, we got a little thingy there, a little second in the series
that's
now.
nice. So there's a 2 on the side
Little
there.
2 on the side there. Now our reprint of Cottage Garden, which is hitting in December, we'll have a little 1 on the side. The first
Very
one didn't because we didn't know we had them all. But this is in that same concept of Cottage Garden, where you are going to go get tiles, we're going to show you the back, but you're going to go get tiles. Paul is going to talk a little bit about how you place them and how the
That'll work. Okay, so if you're familiar with Cottage Garden, this is just a step up in complexity, more of a gamer game.
So
than
Some
a little
people-
more meat on the bone.
Yeah, some people thought that Cottage Garden it is a great game, but maybe it was a little too family oriented.
Yep.
This is a little more gamerly oriented.
So basically, you still have, I don't know if we have them here, the single tiles.
These guys.
Yep. So on your turn, just like in Cottage Garden, you can place a tile on your board, or you can place a single tile from the single tile supply. These used to be
Cats.
pots, I think.
Pots.
Pots
Yeah.
and cats.
Pots and cats.
And you'll notice everyone's going to have their own player board. This is actually a race game.
Oh, interesting.
Whoever completely can fill this board, so it actually plays pretty quick compared to Cottage Garden. Completely fill your board, you win the game. So it's a race of efficiency to build a board. But what makes it very unique, you'll notice every
There's these
tile
holes in
has
the
a
tile,
hole.
right?
And if you can place those holes in the right places over one of these areas, you actually, I don't have the tokens out, but you actually earn the tokens based on, or you place those tokens over the hole. When you've actually filled the section of the board out, this one of the 6 areas, you claim those tokens back. And then there's actually, and you might wonder, and I didn't plan ahead here, but if you do something like this, if they have these animal tiles, if you actually place these on the board over those holes later in the game, you can actually claim those actions again. So what are these tokens? They give you special abilities to play multiple tiles on your turn, because on most turns you're only placing 1. That can be really important to winning the race at the end of the game. There's mushroom tiles that give you the ability to steal individual tiles from 2 opponents from the first spot on their personal. Everyone has their own personal backpack of tiles that they're collecting from the main area. There's also little nuts that attract the squirrels, and if you play the nuts on your turn, you can actually cover individual areas.
You can see
helping you
Fantastic.
close,
There's
the
a lot
whole
more
board.
things going on.
A lot more things going on.
tactics and
A lot more ways of
planning
hitting,
on what
scoring.
order you want to do things in.
And really cute, adorable animals.
Yes,
in the
the
game. We have-
artwork is beautiful.
artwork
These little
again-
foxes and
again, is
squirrels.
it's gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
So we've really hit that stride with this series of games, making them not only be great
But
games,
beautiful
but
art
just,
on them as well.
just really beautiful. In addition, Spielweis, I give them all the credit for picking the right artists to do these games.
Great designers.
Both, yeah, both Noria and Indian Summer picking great designers too. So fantastic. This is also a January release.
A January release.
And it's here at the show, of course, and it's a January release.
It's Indian summer. Thank you.
All right, so everyone would want to. Everyone wants to see the Terraforming Mars
Yes.
stuff. So obviously Terraforming Mars is tearing it up for us. Can't keep it in print. The next printing is coming out soon again. If you don't have it,
It'll be out soon.
It'll be out again soon. We had just released this before the show, like in late August. We came out with Hellas and Elysium, which is a new double-sided game board. So you can play in Hellas Planitia on Mars, or you can play in Elysium Planitia. And there's different milestones and awards on the board. Still the same global parameters that you have to achieve to end the game. Now it's just different variability on the way that you're going to be using the strategies. Now we come to Venus Next. And obviously in Venus Next, we are also going to be terraforming part of Venus. But Venus is a much longer term project. It's much harder than starting with a planet that's at least closer to Earth, like Mars. So with Venus Next, you're going to be doing things like floating cities and things like that. So part of the you have a Venus board that's going to be a sideboard to the game. Another global parameter track that can get up to 30% terraformed for Venus, because Venus is a long-term project. You're never going to do it all. You have new milestones and awards that you're going to place when you're playing with the Venus Next expansion. You place them right next to the game board, so you can achieve those.
Side project that you're working on at the same time.
At the same time as you're doing Mars, you're doing a little bit on Venus.
Just to get your fingers in as the race is going on there.
Exactly. A bunch of new corporations, everyone loves those, and of course, everyone's saying, where are the cards? Because we no new cards here. But now you have 49 new project cards that you slot into the main deck. Very simple. It integrates seamlessly, so you can play Venus Next with Hellas or Venus Next with the original board. Mix and match the combinations any way you want.
Fantastic. So lots of new playability for Terraforming Mars.
That's right. And this will hit the street worldwide on December 27th. Got it.
Fantastic.
Hopefully I remember Space Freaks.
And then you have lots of little games as well.
Yes, we do.
I thought we had it.
Here it is, Space Freaks. It's here. Where'd you put Space Freaks? We have it. We're going to talk about Space Freaks.
I was worried we
Paul. Paul was sweating over here. He thought he didn't bring one of our big releases. Space Freaks. Space Freaks will street date at the end of November, and this is a release that I am super excited about. It is a tactical combat game. So it's a really different kind of game for, like, not a Euro, or at least a traditional Euro. In Space Freaks, you're going to be creating your fighting Space Freaks, sending them out into the arena of annihilation, beating each other up to score victory points. But you never get eliminated, just Space Freaks will regenerate and you'll start again. The theme is supposed to be silly, that your corporation, or you're sponsored by corporations, which they're going to give you sponsor cards. The arena master, this ugly looking guy here with two heads, he's kind of pushing missions out to you to say, hey, if you do this, you get extra points. If you do this. The replayability in this game is that each player has this player board, and they're going to get a whole bunch of cards in the beginning to create their freaks. So you're going to select the arm that you want, select the right arm, the left arm, the legs that you want, and the head. And each one of the body parts gives you different abilities. So you might have a ranged guy, really good at range. You might have a guy that has these special abilities. You might have a close-in guy.
Each time you play, your freak's going to be a little different.
Every time. And you got plastics in the game. So those are you have your basic space freaks, and then you have the basic space freaks. You have droids, and you have aliens that you can recruit via the various things that you get from your
lots of fun new figures, lots of replayability.
Exactly. Double-sided game board, so you can configure the way that if you want to do like a King of the Hill kind of thing on one thing, or you can go into another kind of arena thing as well. So that's, like, of all this stuff out here, I'm like really jonesing, because every time my friends get together, now we're starting to like play this so we can beat each other up. So, and of course it's in a pink box.
Yes.
Pink. So this game is going to kind of stand out on your retailer shelves a little bit.
A little bit of pop, right?
This is in cooperation with our new partnership with Lautapellet.fi, the Finnish company, and we'll be doing more and more games with them as time goes on. And in fact, we will talk a little bit about maybe the next ones that we're doing with them, which are right behind you. Look at that.
Right, look
Paul,
at that.
look at it. He's good. He's not talking, but he's like driving this whole bus. Paul is on top of things here. So a couple of little things we'll do first. And this is a reprint, bottle imp, of a game that came out in 2006 at first, I think, in Germany only.
And this one was quite recent. Wasn't
This one
it?
was recent. This is Dungeon Rush, and this was done last year by Loud Appellate, so we picked it up for the second printing. Bottle Imp is a trick-taking card game, which is mind-bendingly hard to really grasp because Trump in the game constantly like mutates. It starts at the cards are numbered 1 through 36. The Trump cards are the low cards starting at like 19 down, and then the bottle is going to start going lower and lower.
So there'll be less and less Trump.
Less and less and harder to get rid of the bottle, because the object here is if you have the bottle, the evil genie then extracts his revenge that you used him too much.
Right.
So the evil genie then will give you negative points at the end of the hand versus everybody else getting positive points. If you have the bottle at the end, bad thing. You can take it mid-game, get rid of it. We reintroduced in the last version of the game, which came out by Z-Man, I don't know, like the last version was in like 2010 or something like that. Yeah. They removed the bottle, but everyone loved the bottle. It's this like wooden, cool shaped bottle.
It's nice to have something tactile to hold on to, right?
And we got this really cool bottle in the game. It's nice, bright orange, and it's going to be like on the table, like yelling at you.
And it, even though it supports up to 4, it plays great with 3.
It's a great 3-player trick-taking card game.
Fantastic.
Yes, but plays 2 to 4 players.
Great.
Dungeon Rush is a speed game whereby you each get a hero, and that hero has
A right arm and a left arm, right?
He has. They have 2 heroes. Wait, no, I gotta remember this. You get. Paul doesn't remember either.
I haven't played
2
it.
heroes, yeah, I think. And they each have a side, and then
You
depending
get 2 heroes, exactly. And each hero's got a kind of a specialization. Like you might have a swordsman, so he's going to have extra swords. The thief is going to have extra stealth and stuff like that. One thief is your left hand, and one thief is your right hand.
There you go.
There you go, right? So everyone's going to get 2 cards. It's like 3 levels of the dungeon. Everyone's going to get 2 cards from like the first level of the dungeon and go 1, 2, 3, flip. They're going to be monsters. Now, your heroes have got to defeat those monsters, speed-wise. So if I go like this, that means my left hand hero is going here, and my right hand's going there.
Or they could both go on the same one.
Or they can both do the same one.
right.
Exactly like that. So it's a quick speed game. You got to do it, and then those cards become part of your hero. You level up your hero. So you're going to constantly level up the hero by adding these cards to them, and you splay them out a little bit.
Yeah, so they keep adding in new abilities,
You keep
swords,
adding.
and magic and whatnot.
So we consider this a 12-minute game because each round is 1 minute. You play 12 rounds. It's really fast.
Fun, right?
Fast and furious and
then
fun. And that's also a lot of pellet. And then it's the expansion. We didn't bring the base game.
For Nations, the dice game.
Nations, the dice game. We
Which I
reprinted
love.
that. It's been out of print for a while. It was an Asmodee game, so we stole it. I mean, we got it now from Loud Appellate with our partnership with Loud Appellate. So we're doing Nations, the dice base game as well as this unreleased expansion called Unrest, which adds, of course, more dice. Custom dice, which people like, yes, put it this way again. More custom dice, which people love in the game, and a whole unrest mechanic. If you don't treat your people well, you're going to gain this unrest, and it's going to be bad for you. So this release is
more gameplay for Nations, the dice game.
more
for those who love
gameplay.
that.
Exactly, 2 to 4 players, more gameplay. Awesome.
Fantastic.
How are we doing on time? Yes, we have a few more only a few more, right? Yes, we have about 15, a little less than that. So expansions, 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 and expansions. This is what we have here. So I'm going to do them in a strange order. So City of Spies, double agent expansion. So in this, this is our expansion, which came out at the end of August for City of Spies. It now enables you. There you go. It now enables you to play on different areas of the board in Lisbon, because the other game was set in Estoril, and now it's set in Lisbon, so you have 2 more locations that the spies can go to. A 5th player now, so instead of just 2 to 4, now you can go to 5 players. And the cool thing is a new mechanic called the double agent, where one of your agents, if he has that ability, might take control of another agent and make that person a double agent. That's their special ability. So more intrigue and more interaction between the players and stuff like that. So that's City of Spies double agent expansion for City of Spies.
And next,
We'll go to Dark Moon. I'm doing it sort of in release order. So Dark Moon Shadow Corporation. Okay, Dark Moon was our big hidden trader social deduction game where we're all on miners on Titan, the satellite of Saturn, and someone or more, someone is infected or more players are infected, and we have to like weed them out. We're trying to get the heck off of there before getting infected. So we have to get out, and they want to kill. They want to like ruin the missions, and you can never figure out. You can reveal yourself as a traitor. Now we've added even more intrigue into the game because now you have a ship that you can actually clear people to get off the station via another route, another ship. We have in there this new role called the Company Man. Sort of like the Paul Reiser role in Aliens, where like he's got a different agenda. He wants to get a sample. He wants to get one of the infected players back to Earth.
What is that's going on here? Maybe they can turn it around.
Yeah, they're gonna make it into a weapon, of course. So more intrigue, more craziness, more of that like, you know, just yelling and screaming across the table. Who's infected? Who's not? Paul and his brother, who are twins. When I've seen them play this game, it's like insanity because they can read each other better. But you guys didn't know. You both thought each other were infected. Nope. You're like, I know you. You know I know you, and you're infected. But they weren't infected.
A lot of fun.
It's really amazing. Dark Moon Shadow Corporation. All right.
Next.
We'll go with Not Alone Exploration. So little baby mini kind of expansion here, but
Nice and sweet.
What it comes with is more cards for the game. So Not Alone is our release from June of this year, where you are astronauts and you've crash landed on this distant planet, another solar system that was unexplored. You realize you are not alone. So one player, it's a 2 to 7 player game, and one player takes on the role of the creature, and all the other players take on the role of the astronauts. So
trying to just get home.
Trying to just get home. And it's sort of a race to see who's going to do better. There's a board in the base game that as you do well, you're getting closer and closer and closer to the extraction point essentially, and the creature is getting closer and closer to capturing you if he gets there.
The artwork is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really gorgeous. So in this little expansion, you have a whole nother set of 10 locations. So the original game has 10 locations, you have 10 more. And you can mix and match them. If you don't want to play with the number 1 in this one, you take the number 1 I put it. So they're completely interchangeable. Gives you all of this new customization for Not Alone. Fantastic game of like bluffing and hiding and trying to figure out where people are going.
Fantastic. And
all right. This is not technically the last thing we're going to do. You know, we have this one, and then we're just going to, because they already talked about it. But this is
expansion for the Pursuit of Happiness.
For the Pursuit of Happiness. Again, we released this in early August. Pursuit of Happiness, and now brought out this community expansion. Again, this game looks beautiful on the table too. It's very bright and family-like. But it's got a little meat on the bone. So now in the community expansion, you can interact with your communities. Not only have you charted the course of your life from young age all the way to old age.
And
now you're going to how did you do in your community? What did you offer them, and what did they do for you and with you? So you have a sideboard for the community and a new deck of cards for the community. And that community expansion will be out in January.
Fantastic.
February for the community expansion. All right. Last one of the stuff, and then we're going to just say we're also doing these. This is Fabled Fruit, the lime expansion. Because why do we have to do a lime expansion? Because we need green fruit. Because Friedemann needs green fruits. And everything in 2F has got to have some green in it. Lime expansion adds limes. And it adds another deck of cards. So you have a whole nother set of locations, and I can't remember the number of them. 80 new location cards, not 80 unique ones, but 80 new cards that you can find in the game. You can add these to the bottom of the deck, or you can play them at some other point. Right. So these will be obviously they'll be even a little more wacky in advance, right? So if you play through all of the other location cards, now you have even more interesting ones to play as well.
And you can play this right out of the gate.
You can play just with this if you want.
Slot it into wherever you want in the deck.
Right, you need the base game to play it, but you can slot it in on top if you want.
It's not like you have to play the whole base game.
No, you don't add it in at the back, you add it in here and there. And it's easy to sort out.
Yeah, absolutely. Say you got halfway through, you can just put this in there. And the other ones you've already just seen. Friedemann was here a minute ago, but we just want to mention that we're doing Fear, Fortress, and Flee. Yes, this way, I guess. Fear, Fortress, and Flee, the new Fast Forward series.
And then his new solo
game. And his new solo game finished.
Yes, I did. I like this one so much, I keep throwing it around everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Fast Forward series is, you can't understate how interesting and cool this is, because
just being able to drag a game out and just starting to play immediately. No one has to read the rules beforehand. No one has to explain anything.
You bought the game, you put it on the table, stop playing it. You bought the game, put it on the table, stop playing it. So it's the game without rules. There are no rules in the box. As Friedemann showed you just a little while ago, there's a deck of cards. One side says, it's the bottom, turn it over. And the other side says, get X number of people together, depending on the number of players, and start playing. In the game, the first few cards teaches you how to play. These are these oversized tarot cards, as you saw probably a little while ago.
Nice,
so they look really
chunky
cool.
cards.
Yep. And very excited about this, and finished his new solo game, his sequel to Friday, which is the #1 solo game on Board Game Geek. So a lot of games, but
and last but not least,
we brought Pickeroo. We'll mention it. Pickeroo came out in May, but you know it's really like only getting over here to Europe. So Pickeroo, Jeff Engelstein's speed game. You're trying to be the best pit crew, not the racing car driver, but get your car back on the track fast.
And depending on how well you are at doing your job, then the cars will get around the track
The cars
faster.
will move it. That's right, depending on how well you do, and then they start moving around.
A lot of fun, a lot of interaction.
A lot of fun, really good. Yep.
And that's it. The Tower of Games.
The Tower of Games
from
has been
Stronghold.
crashed down. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stronghold.